So when I arrived here in 2001, the first thing that I ran into at the archives was a photograph that made me sort of sick to my stomach. It's an aerial of this part of Ferry Farm, and on it are 100 buildings, little outbuildings covering the landscape, starting about where the surveyor shed and just running that way. And I thought, oh my God, those buildings have destroyed anything that would be underneath them, and so that area is just gone. And then and I was actually worried that the buildings ran all the way on, well onto the site, and so it took me a little while to figure out that the buildings seemed to stop. The modern farm buildings seem to stop on the south side of the 18th century entrance road, and most of the site is on the north side. So I was like, okay, I can live with this. And so we had tried to do little teeny excavations on the area that had all these buildings, but could never get through. There's a really dense gravel on this side, and we knew it wasn't the correct stratigraphy, but we could not get through with our shovels. It was just so hard packed and so gravelly, and so we would try to punch holes in it, and we just gave up. And so we just sort of put the side of the site away until the utility trench. We were monitoring the utility trench. We ran it purposely through this area because we didn't think there could be anything over there. 10 minutes later, we're hitting this dark stain that has 18th century artifacts. The thing sticking out of it that sort of really caught our attention, there was a wig curler sticking out of it, and that's our signature Washington artifact. And so it turns out that gravel, the gravel layer that we couldn't get through, once we got through it, it turns out the farmer, when preparing this area for buildings, put down this thick gravel layer to make it so his buildings would operate correctly. They wouldn't flood. It'd be nice and firm. And so in essence, he was protecting the archaeology site without realizing it, and making it so that 100 years later, now over 100 years later, archaeologists now, instead of saying bad words about him and his buildings, now say thankful words to him.
That's amazing that has protected, and now it's gives you another insight into the Washingtons.
And the fact that it took us 21 years to figure that secret out shows that Ferry Farm is really holds its secrets tightly, and that that's the beauty of archaeology. You don't really understand what you're getting into until you're actually into it.
And just the site just continues to have surprise after surprise.
Without a doubt. This is like I said, got here in 2001, wasn't really sure sort of how this was going to go. Had no idea that this was going to go quite so well, and so that this is a fabulous site, and can tell us about people on this landscape for 14,000 years, and particularly sort of have enabled us to rewrite the story of the Washingtons.